Yo. Once again, it's on. Back at you one more again. Real Ken's TV and the House Like Kitchen Sinks. Before I get into today's story, y'all jump in the comment section. Let me know where you're chiming in from. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. Let me know your city, your state, your hood, your set, whatever it may be that you're representing. And let us know if you're the man or the woman that you say you be. Now, with all that being said, there is a message. There are often times, that I've come across people throughout my endeavors, if you will, in the penitentiary, in the jails. And I don't get involved in anyone's business, anyone's case. Now, if you come to me, you ask me for some advice, or if I happen to be cool with you, I know you from the streets, and we're, simply discussing our cases or whatever, then maybe so. But other than that, I'm going to stay out of it. But one thing for certain and two things for sure. It's what I always tell people. Bro, if you are guilty, don't try them people. Do not try them people whatsoever. Now, when I say do not try them people, meaning don't take them people to trial, man, because they're going to knock your head off. I've seen times to where people may not have necessarily been guilty, but they're facing so much time, they're not really willing to roll the dice, to gamble, to say the least. Got 3 individuals, young dudes, probably at the time, 25 to 30 range. So, not too terribly young, but not old either. You got Marcus, you got EJ, and you got Eric. They all came up together, was all cool, was doing a little dirt here and there in the streets or what have you. This particular day, Marcus had been working for a landscaping company. It was payday, he got his check. Goes into the bank to cash his check. Didn't have direct deposit or anything back then. This is, 17, 18 years ago. Man, you did have jobs, obviously, that had direct deposit, but Marcus didn't have direct deposit at his job. He goes into the bank, and he's waiting to get his check cashed. He's waiting in line, and he sees an elderly gentleman. Elderly gentleman was a white man, looked to be, maybe 60. Wasn't too terribly, large in stature or whatever. Matter of fact, he wasn't even quite 5'11". From what I understand, he was about 5'9", 5'9.5", 5'10-ish or what have you. Probably weighing in at about 190 pounds, 200 pounds at best or what have you. But nevertheless, he was at the teller, and, it was taking a while. Initially, Marcus is not really paying too much attention. He's, growing frustrated. Like, man, you know how it is, man. You're in a rush, especially when you're young. You trying to, hurry up and get in and get out. The teller wasn't being exactly discreet. She counts out the money. It's like $27,000 cash. Marcus is saying this. He gets on the phone, calls his people. Hey, I'm in line right now. Dude at the bank, man. Like 27,000. You lying? Man, he got like 27,000. How you know? Because the teller, I'm like a couple spots behind him or whatever in line, and the teller's talking kind of loud. She's not really, being discreet about it at all. 27 G's. Now, obviously, the people that he was talking to on the phone, which happened to be EJ, they couldn't get there fast enough to the bank. So they tell him, hey, man, follow him when he comes up out of the bank, man, follow him. Marcus is like, man, I got to cash my check, man. Man, forget that little check, man. Dude got 27 G's. You can cash your check anytime. You go to Walmart. You go anywhere to cash your check. Marcus goes back to his car. He goes back to the car. He sits there and he waits on the elderly gentleman to come out of the bank. It's about 5 or 6 minutes before he comes out of the bank. Man gets into his car. He pulls off. Marcus is following him. Now, to follow someone takes I would guess, I've never followed anyone, but I would assume that it takes somewhat of a skill, because you don't want to alert the person that you're following them. if that makes any sense to you. Didn't know where he was going. Was figuring he was probably going maybe to a car lot or somewhere to make a purchase or, something of that nature. It was about 4:30 in the afternoon. So obviously it's still bright outside. Marcus is following the gentleman. And he soon realizes that this man is going home or going to a residence, figuring that it's his residence. But he knows that he's not going to a store or car lot or, jail to bond somebody out. Anything that would require a large sum of cash. He goes home. He figures that it's his home because the garage door raises up, pulls his car into the garage. When he pulls his car into the garage, he doesn't shut the garage door. He leaves the garage door open. Oftentimes I see people that will leave their garage doors open. Marcus is sitting there. He's in the cut. He calls EJ back. Hey, man, I'm at dude's house. I think it's his house, man, because he went into the garage, pulled his car into the garage or whatever. So EJ's asking him, man, any other cars, man, any other? That's the only car I see. Man, we on our way. Now, when I say we, meaning EJ and Eric. They pull up about 20 minutes later. They all jump in the car, with Marcus. They're sitting there and they're plotting and they're trying to figure out, is he coming back out? Are we going to have to go in? How are we going to get our money on this $27,000 that you say, that you've seen? So they sit there and they talk. They wait. A couple hours goes past. The sun is starting to set a little bit. It's still daylight because it's still considered summertime, although it's at the end of the summer. They didn't want to leave because they didn't want to miss him. They didn't want that money to leave out of the door, leave out of the house. So it seems like they were just kind of just casing the joint. Pretty soon, look up and the sun, it's getting dark outside now. In the summertime, you have to be really, really careful. Not encouraging anyone to do anything of the sorts. I'm just simply saying in the summertime, you have people walking their dogs and jogging and kids outside. And, so if you're a weird car in the neighborhood, people's going to look at you. They're going to, you know what I mean? So, but I guess at this particular juncture, they weren't thinking about that. Only thing that was on their mind is 27 G's, man. Listen, man, I don't think nobody else is in the house, bro. What are we gonna do? We're gonna kick the door in? We can't just go kick a door in. Like, we can go through the garage. He left the garage door open. We can go through the garage. At this point, it's a few hours later, the garage door is still open. We go through the garage, kick that door in, so we're not really causing too much of a disturbance. Mind you, 16, 17 years ago, everybody didn't have Ring doorbells and the security that, most people have now. So they thought about it. I tell you what, man, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take one of these cars, drop it off at a different location, around a corner or somewhere like that. So that way, once we come up out of the house, we jump in one car and we gone. How about one of us just sits in the car and waits? Two of us go in. I mean, after all, we don't think anybody's in the house with them. There's only one car there. He's an elderly gentleman. It's not like he's 5'11", so he's not shouldn't be too hard with us. Plus, they got they got things on them. They got pistols. They got one pistol. Eric has the pistol. I say we should all go in because we never know exactly what's gonna transpire or whatever. I stay at the door. This is Marcus. I stay at the door. Y'all two can go in and get the money because it's not like he's going to just have the money in his wallet. He probably has it put up somewhere. He may have a safe. But the whole goal is to get in and to get out. Nobody gets hurt. Nobody, and that's often one thing that you hear when it comes to robberies and things like that. Nobody's going to get hurt. Nobody's going to get injured. We just going to get the money and we gone. They masked up or whatever. They were smart enough to bring, something to put over their face. Their face is. They decided to make their move. Like I said, it's dark outside at this point. Instead of kicking the door in, they come up with a plan to just knock on the door. Maybe the dude would just open the door. Would just knock on the door normal. As normal. Got one guy that knocks on the door. He has his hat on. Has it, kind of low. Then the other two, they stand on the side of the door. Marcus is the one that knocks on the door. Not bang or anything. Knocks on the door. The gentleman comes to the door. Opens the door. May I help you? The other two, they rush him. They rush in. EJ, Eric. Imagine coming to your door, and especially when you're of age in your 60s. The fright, the fear, the surprise, the horror that man must have felt. They rush in. Where's the money at? They put their mask down over their faces or whatever. Marcus puts the mask down over his face. The other two already had their masks on. I don't know anything about any money. I don't know anything about it. Eric pistol whips him, man. Bust his head open, man. Marcus, what are you doing, Brad? Nobody's supposed to get hurt, man. Nobody's supposed to get hurt, man. Give me the money. I'm going to tell you one more time, old man. Give me the money. Elderly gentleman, as one would expect, he's discombobulated. He's putting his hand over his head. He's bleeding. Marcus is feeling sorry for the gentleman. He grabs him a towel. Here, man. Wets the towel. Gives him a towel, man. Put this over your head. Put this over your head. Gentleman, he goes and gets the money or whatever. He has the money put up. Still in the bank envelope. Grab the money. They're about to leave out. Eric said, hold on. What are you doing, man? Come on, let's go. Give me your cell phone, old man. Give me your cell phone. Grabs the man's, elderly man's cell phone. He instructs Marcus, do you got a house phone? Yeah, there's one in the living room. I have one house phone. They go yank the house phone out of the wall. Before they leave out of the house, for some reason, Eric is just still sitting there, like, still patronizing the elderly man. He's getting a kick out of it. He thinks it's funny. He's throwing the cell phone to Marcus or whatever. Come on, man, let's go. They're leaving out of the door, about to head out of the door. Boom! They hear a shot. Hear one shot. Turn around. Eric had shot the elderly man in the leg. Man, what are you doing, man? Why did you... Eric claims that the gun just went off. He didn't mean to shoot the man in the leg. This is trouble. This is big, big trouble. You all have turned a 211 into a potential 187. Which so often happens. Y'all rock with me, man. Y'all youngsters, man, y'all listen to this. Robberies don't rarely go as planned. They done left out of the house. Marcus' conscience is getting to him. He runs back inside of the house. Come on, dog, what you doing? Tosses the man his cell phone. Runs back out of the house, jumps in the car. They gone. Now, why did you get to do the cell phone? He gonna call the police. Man, it don't matter, dude. You shot him. What if the dude bleeds? What if he dies? What if he's unalive? And I just hit him in his leg. Yeah, but he can't call anybody. We ripped the phone out of... So they arguing back and forth. They got all of this money, but the money's not on their mind at this particular time. We ripped the phone out of the wall. He can't call anybody for help. We took the cell phone. By the time he called police, we long gone. They end up getting out of the neighborhood, get back to the other vehicle that they had, stashed or whatever, and they gone. They go to their spot, split the money up or whatever. Everybody gets about 9,000 and some change, maybe 91, 9,200, something like that. Marcus couldn't get this man off his mind. Hope he's all right, man. Wasn't supposed to go down like that. Eric's reassuring that he's gonna be okay, but after all, how do you know if he's gonna be okay or not? You're not a doctor. You don't know what happened. You know what happened as far as how it happened, but you don't know you hit a vein, or artery, or anything in a man's leg. Watching the news, they don't see anything on the news about anybody being unalive or anything of the sorts. Investigation is going on. So about a month later, police come knocking at Marcus's door. Opens the door. They want him to come downtown for questioning. Question me about what? We'll let you know once we get to the station. We get down to the station. This is the thing now. Just imagine. I want you all to really, really imagine this. 17 years ago, the technology was nowhere as advanced as it is now. These detectives are not stupid, man. They just look stupid. They had gone back and reviewed the surveillance at the bank. See, Marcus wasn't thinking about that. EJ wasn't thinking about that. Eric wasn't thinking about this. Eric didn't seem to be thinking at all. They went back and did a surveillance, reviewed the surveillance, and they seen this individual Marcus. Now, they didn't have any proof that Marcus had anything to do with this, but they noticed that he had been standing in line. He got on his phone. He's looking at the individual, because those cameras, they can zoom in, and I'm surprised they can't even hear your conversation. They probably can, to be honest, especially now. He's looking up at the gentleman as though he's telling somebody, which he clearly was, what was going on. What was odd, what was very, very peculiar, suspicious, is that before he even seen the teller to cash his check, he leaves out of the bank. Leaves out of the bank, as I told you. He sits outside for, however long it takes the gentleman to come out of the bank. What I say, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, however long it was. And when that gentleman got in his car to pull off, Marcus's car pulls off. All of this was caught on camera. They were able to retrieve the license plate number from the bank parking lot. And that's how they arrived at Marcus's house. Now, it wasn't Marcus's car that he was in. So obviously they're going to go to the individual's car that's, it's registered to, the license plate is registered to. Hey, whoa, I don't know anything about a robbery, man. I don't know anything. My little cousin's been using my car or whatever. His name is Marcus. He's had my car. Or at the time he had my car, whatever. His car was in the shop. I don't know anything about it. I'm totally cooperative. I don't have anything to do with any robberies or anything of the sorts. So again, that's how they found out exactly who Marcus was and where Marcus lived at. Get him down to the police station. They questioning him. They gonna make him feel comfortable. Hey, how you doing, man? You like anything? Something to drink? Soda, coffee? Just to try to make you your mind at ease. Anything to eat? Some chips or something like that? Nah, man, I'm good, man. Why am I down here? Mr. Marcus, I think you know why you're down here. Just want to give you an opportunity to give your version, to give your side. Because there was a robbery, home invasion that took place. Favorite thing the police love to say, we know you were there. They're presenting with the pictures at the bank. See, oftentimes, unless you're a seasoned criminal, when the people show you a picture of yourself, you just automatically think you're caught. Because you're looking at the picture on, you're seeing yourself on the picture. See, a guy like me, I used to see myself, well, you're never going to see me on a camera anyway, but I'm just simply saying, even if they showed me a picture of myself, man, I don't know what y'all talking about, man. That ain't me. We're looking right at your face, Mr. Ken. That ain't me, man. I don't know what y'all talking about. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to just ask for a lawyer right off top. But hey, that's just me. Marcus is confronted with the pictures. Marcus is confronted with the whole... It seems as though the detectives were there. We know that you called 2 other gentlemen. We know that you went out to the parking lot and you waited. We know that you followed him. We know that the 2 other gentlemen met you at this gentleman's house. We know that you all forced your way into the house, pistol whipped him, took his money, shot him, threatened him if you call the police. But we want to get your version. We want to get your version of the story. Now, the detectives don't even know who EJ and Eric are. Otherwise, you're going down by yourself, man. You can help yourself. You want to go to jail, or you want to go home. You can help yourself, but you got to give us the story. You got to let us know what it really, really was. Otherwise, there's nothing else we can do for you. Marcus is not even knowing that if he just says, I need an attorney, they have to stop questioning. Marcus doesn't even realize that they don't even have enough to hold him. It's just a theory. This is just something that they came up with. After a couple hours being interrogated, Marcus breaks. Everything that I just said to you all pretty much is what he said to the detectives. He tells the detectives about EJ, about Eric. We were just supposed to go in and get the money. Eric comes in and he hits the dude. Then eventually he ends up shooting him. I didn't know anything about any guns. I didn't know anything about... We were just trying to get the money. That's all we wanted was the money. The detective asked Marcus, well, the gentleman said that one of you all threw the phone back to him. Was that you? Yeah, I gave him his phone back. Why would you give him his phone back? I mean, I just feel bad. You know, Eric, he shot the dude, and I knew that we had ripped the phones out of the wall, and if we took his cell phone, how would he call for help? My conscience started to get the best of me. Now here it is, you are the one that arranged this whole scenario. 2 people that was minding their business, Eric and EJ, you call them, but now all of a sudden your conscience is getting the best of it. Interesting. So the police pretty much cut a deal. Well, they blatantly cut a deal. Not pretty much, they blatantly cut a deal with Marcus. He's still going to be charged. But you need us to work. We need you to work with us. Let us know, you know, put us on with EJ and Eric. Basically, they wanted him to wear a wire or whatever. Set them up. So we're going to let you go as though nothing even happened. But you're going to work with us, man. Situation went down to where he wore a wire, but they never really could get too much information off of the wire because it was loud. It was music being played or whatever. So they couldn't really make out what was being said. But the fact that he gave them a rundown, an exact rundown of what the elderly gentleman had said, that was enough. See, I'm in a Commonwealth state. You don't really need too much evidence, probable cause or whatever. Basically, if somebody says you did something, police can come and pick you up. Now, the conviction is something totally different. But if somebody says, hey, man, that man robbed me right there, the police can come and pick you up, man, based on what this individual said. And you may not have ever even done anything to this person, but the fact that it was being said. They got him in jail. EJ and Eric's in jail. They're denying everything. They're not talking. A little bit more seasoned. They don't even talk to the police, man. Give me an attorney. going through the whole process is about like 2 years. Oftentimes in felony cases, especially something like involving someone being unalived or hurt real bad, or the more serious cases, you're gonna sit in that county jail a couple years fighting the case. Gets to the point to where EJ breaks. They offer him a deal. These dudes is facing a life sentence easily. First degree assault, kidnapping, home invasion, robbery. These dudes is facing football numbers, like never coming home ever again in life. And when they do, it's 40, 50 years later, if they're lucky. They offer EJ a sweet deal, 10 years. They offer EJ 10 years at 85%. Got to flip the script on Eric. So now you're going to have EJ and you're going to have Marcus both pointing the finger at Eric. Initially, EJ turns the deal down. Nah, man, I can't do that. See, EJ and Eric are cousins. I can't do that, man. Can I just get the deal? Yeah, you can't get the deal. You got to give us something. We're not going to just give you 10 years at 85%, which means he'll do 8 years and 6 months before he gets out. Mind you, he's already been in there for 2 years. He's only, at this point, maybe 27, 33 years old. He still has another shot at life. Otherwise, you go to trial, man. You got this person saying we did this. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. He decides to flip the script. So now he's testifying against his own cousin as well. They offer Eric 20 years at 85%. There's some discrepancies in the case, so evidently the prosecution didn't feel too comfortable about going to trial with this case. Not necessarily they didn't feel comfortable, but the offer seems to be a little low. Even though it's 20 years at 85%, you're going to do 17 years. Nah, Eric ain't trying to hear it. They come all the way down to 15 years at 85%. He still do what, 12 and a half? Nah, they ain't got nothing. If they keep coming down like this, they ain't got nothing. Goes to trial. EJ Marcus gets on the stands. That elderly man gets on the stands. He's walking with a cane because of the damage that was done to his leg. That's all it took. Guilty. All charges. First degree assault. That's 10 to 20. That's 10 to 20 by itself. Home invasion. 10 to 20. First degree robbery. 10 to 20. Felon in possession of a handgun. 5 to 10. Terroristic threatening. All of these charges he gets convicted of. That's not even the worst of it. That's bad, but it's not even the worst of it. He got hit with a sentence enhancement because that was his second felony. So the 10 to 20s that he was facing now went to 20 to life. So they have sentence enhancement. So even though you've already done your time on one charge, they'll enhance your sentence because you've had a prior. Really double jeopardy, to be honest, but that's just what it is. When it was all said and done, man walked away with a 65-year prison sentence. 65 years. When them people offered him 15 years, he could have done 12 and been home. I understand that when you're looking at that sort of time, you're saying to yourself, who wants to go and do 12 years? Who wants to go and do 15, 16 years? But you know you guilty. You know that people are pointing the finger at you. You got to know sometimes when to you got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. And that definitely was one time he should have folded. I say it all the time, a good run beats a bad stance any day. 17 years later, he could have been out. Could have been out. But he's still in the penitentiary to this day. 65-year prison sentence. Everybody thinks, oh man, I'm gonna give it time back. That means when you hear a person say, I'm gonna give it time back, meaning I'm gonna come up on appeal. Newsflash, youngsters, only 5% of individuals that are convicted are make it back to appeals court. And that's just getting back into appeals court. There's no telling what the percentage is to have your case actually overturned. Like it's a very, very difficult task. 65 years. Fortunately for him, in the state of Kentucky, the most time that you can do, unless you're doing 25 to life, the most time that you can do is 20 years before you're eligible to see the parole board. I don't care if they give you a 100-year sentence. Once you do 20 years, you're eligible to see the parole board. That's the only chance that he has. But the nature and the violence and, of the crime, I can't see them letting him out after he gets his 20 years in. 65-year sentence. At this point, he's in his 40s, mid-40s. I could see him doing another 20. Definitely another 15. If he's lucky, another 15. People not playing, man. Violence. The parole board does not like that. Violence. These guns. And it was an elderly man. An elderly white man. They do not like that whatsoever. It could have been an elderly black man, but the fact that he was an elderly white man, that just makes it even worse. Let's just keep it real. Man, come on, kids, with the race. Don't shoot the messenger. Point that I'm making is that even though $27,000 seems like a whole lot of money, you split it up 3 ways, $9,000. So for the last 17 years, you divide 17 years by $9,000. Don't know the exact math off the top of my head, but that's not a lot of money. You forever terrorize this elderly man that at this point, I don't even know if he's still alive and kicking. Hopefully he is. For $9,000, $9,100. Messed your entire life up. Instead of just, accepting responsibility and being accountable for your actions, for the crime that you all committed, I think you doing 12 years was more than fair. More than fair. That man could have had a heart attack, lost his life prior to you, shooting him. You youngsters have to understand that when you're in crimes of cahoots, meaning that it's more than just you got co-defendants, somebody's gonna flip the script. First one to the table, man. Somebody's gonna flip the script. All that I'm real, I ride for my dogs, man, that's just movies, that's TV, that's music. In real life, reality, ain't nobody trying to go and do 40. Are you? Nobody's trying to go and do 40. Now here it is, the individual that set the whole thing up. When it was all said and done, he got 10 years, but he got a regular 10 years, meaning he does 2 years to the parole board, has an opportunity to get out. He ends up doing 4 years on that 10, and he gets out. But kids, how you all know all of this? You wasn't there. You wasn't, because Eric told me. See, when you locked up and you're in a cell with an individual, sometimes, man, they get to talking about their cases or whatever. It's not a good idea to do, especially like if you're in an appeals court or you get to telling people about crimes that haven't been solved. Or now me, I was never gonna say a word because I didn't, that's not me. But you have people that's looking to get out of jail. Pretty much told me what happened. He was regretful. He was remorseful. Judge don't care nothing about your tears in court. Judge don't care nothing about you. I'm so sorry. I'm praying for the victims. And you know, my thoughts and prayers just go out to the family. If your thoughts and prayers went out to the family, or going out to the family, why weren't your thoughts and prayers going out to the family at the time when you all terrified this gentleman? This is how the judges think. So they're gonna let you speak your piece, and you sitting there and you think that they're listening to you, and then boom, they're gonna throw the book at you. Atlanta rapper, I think his name is Cash Out. I can Google that. Just gave him a life sentence plus 70. Kidnapping, prostitution, grape. Don't necessarily believe the grape part, but it is what it is. The jury believed it. They offered that man 25 years. You know you guilty, bro. You know you guilty of something. Now, I don't know if they were trying to make him a SEX offender. You know, I know he is now, but I don't know if it was part of the plea deal or whatever. Because he's adamant that he didn't do anything. He didn't grape anybody. So I would have tried to negotiate that deal. Okay, you offer me 25. I'm going to act as though I'm going to go to trial. I know I can probably get that down to 20. I don't take anything that has anything to do with graping anybody or whatever. But for the prostitution and the things that I know that I was doing, I'm going to take it. Georgia has parole. Not sure how many years you do, or as far as percentage-wise. But let's just say you end up getting 20 and you do 10 years. And then boom, you're eligible for parole. Not now. Life plus 70. It's hard to get that back in court. It's hard to get that up off you. Well, Kens, if they already gave him life, why they give him 70? Because they know that people are going to appeal their cases. You know, it's called a direct appeal. Like if you get over 15 years in Kentucky, you automatically go for appeal. So, let's just say in the best case scenario, you get that life sentence overturned. But don't worry about it. Now you got this 70. Chances are you're not going to get the life overturned, but in the event that you do, you still got 70 years. They locked that man up and threw away the key. It's not going to be tolerated in the community. RICO. Organized crime. Criminal syndicate. Conspiracy. Crimes in cahoots. If you grown enough to go out here and do dirt and break the law, be grown enough to accept the responsibilities and what comes along with it. Cry, call your mama. She can call down to the Department of Corrections. She can call the governor. She can call Trump. Mama can't help you once Johnny Law gets a hold of you. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Be sure to hit that post notification so anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Shout out to that elderly gentleman that endured that, unfortunately, had to endure that horrific situation. Real Kens TV.